Hey everyone, welcome back to One on One. I'm your host, Wonderbeard. I got a special guest with me today, a good friend of mine. He wears many hats. He keeps up with so many different things, and I can barely keep up with one. Eliseo Torrez. I'm very thankful to have you on the show today. Why don't you introduce us to yourself?
First and foremost, what's going on, Mr. John, Mr. Wonderbeard himself? I appreciate you for allowing me to come on tonight. A little bit about me, just a slight introduction is that, I am KS, which stands for Kingdom Supporter. I'm 33, lives here in Cincinnati, Ohio for the past maybe 20 years. And I got a son who's 6. I believe in Jesus. I love cars. I love supporting others. I love whether if it's businesses, ministries, or just individuals across the board. I am a servant of God. I am a son, a father, and I just love supporting others. So I am the host of the KS Radio Show and the founder and host of Kruisin With KS, which is my car content because I am a car enthusiast here in Cincinnati.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, so we will definitely jump into a lot of the different things you do because I feel like you only mentioned part of it. There is so much that you are constantly involved in. So we definitely got to cover all that. But I want to make sure we jump really far into this because every Christian, every person that has given their life over to God, they have a beautiful story behind it. There's a beautiful testimony in everybody's hearts, whether it tackles one issue or a different issue. There's always a story that ends up concluding with that moment that you come to Jesus, and then your walk starts from there. So let's dive into that for you. I want you to tell it in as long as you want. You don't have to shorten anything down. Just go ahead and tell us your testimony, and if I have any questions, I might interject at some point when it feels natural. But ultimately, now the floor is yours.
Got you. So I was raised in church all my life, and of course, like at a certain age, you want to do your own thing. So, I was in church from childhood. I served on the usher board in Gary, Indiana, where I am from. Shout out to the 219. But I moved to Cincinnati in 2001, and we still went to church. And at a certain age in my teenage years, after coming back to Cincinnati from Virginia because I lived in Virginia with my sister. So that was about 2003. We started back going to church, and I have a passion for music. And I was in church, and I wasn't listening to, um, I guess you could say, Christ-centered music. I would listen to more what was on the radio at the time before I heard about Christian hip hop. I found out about Christian hip hop after I graduated high school, which was in 2009, and I was texting a friend. I think her name was Michaela, who went to SCPA, School of Performing Arts downtown, and I asked her like what she was doing. She said that she was on her way to her next class, listening to music. So I asked her like, "What are you listening to, or who are you listening to?" And she mentioned this artist named Lecrae. She told me to YouTube him because I had never heard of him. So I YouTube Lecrae, and after 4 songs on YouTube, I was hooked. And
Yep.
since then, I have been a Christian hip hop fan, and I took that passion for music, with Jay Z, with Young Money, with Drake, and I transferred it to the Christian hip hop scene, which was, Lecrae, Triple Tadashi, Flame, just to name a few of the
Absolutely.
artists that I had been introduced to in that short amount of time after listening to Lecrae. And after going to a few concerts, listening to a few videos, a few months went by, and I threw all my old Young Jeezy CDs, Jay Z CDs in the trash. The mixtapes that I would buy at the local gas station, I threw those away because my heart was changing because of the music that I was listening to from Lecrae, Triple, and those artists. So that was 2009. About 2010, I was a member of Tri-Summer New Beginnings Church, and I wanted to start a like a youth stepping ministry with the Christian hip hop that I had been
Okay.
listening to. And on the verge of me getting, approved, I actually had the chance to join Eddie James Ministries, which was a full time ministry. So I got invited through. I think the keyboardist name was what was his name? It was David something, and he asked me after service, how would I like to join EJM, and to first of all, he asked if I liked what I had saw because Eddie and his team was a special guest at the church that day, and he asked if I liked what I had seen, and I said yes. And he said, "Well, if you had the opportunity to leave and join them, when will you go?"
Wow.
And I had just worked Friday, so I had a paycheck, and I said like I would pack up and I would leave today, and that's what I did. We got a hold of his road manager. We talked when I got back home. My mom approved it. I packed. Eddie told me to pack 2 weeks worth of clothes, and my Bible, and my Social Security card. And we didn't meet up that evening, which was Sunday evening. We met up the Monday after that. So the next day, we drove to Portsmouth, Ohio, which was like the halfway point because they were in West Virginia. I was still in Ohio.
Yeah.
And after that, I joined Eddie James. I had been on the road for about a month and a half. So from March 10th, 2010, till about May 1st. And I got sick on the road while we were in North Carolina. I can't remember what part of North Carolina we was in, but I had got sick on the road, and I had experienced sleep paralysis. I didn't know what it was at that time, but I had experienced sleep paralysis for like a week, or off and on, like maybe like on a Tuesday and then again on like a Thursday evening, and I didn't know what was happening, and my Eddie and the team, they didn't know, like they was getting a hold of my mom, and my mom was like, just send him back home because they didn't know what was going on, and they thought I had like a medical condition or something because I was passing out in the middle of the day and stuff. So my mom said, just send him back home, and Eddie and the team, because of finances, they was trying to find the best route, the cheapest route to send me back home, whether on a plane by myself with someone else, or on a bus with someone else, or by myself. So I end up catching the bus, Greyhound, back to Cincinnati, Ohio, from North Carolina, multiple layovers, and
Man.
anyway, got back to Cincinnati, and I found out about PlayStation Home. PlayStation Home was a like a software inside of the PlayStation.
Bro, no way. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you. I loved PlayStation Home. I was like, no joke, no joke. In fact, this is kind of crazy to admit, but me and my nephew, who might be on the show not that crazy much longer, uh, he and I were talking about PlayStation Home, and we decided to try out new stuff that was like it. And we started doing like this Nebula Realm stuff and all that.
Yeah,
Like, dude, I was the biggest fan of that stuff. I was so into that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's another thing that we didn't even talk about and I can connect with you on. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I'm fresh back in Cincinnati. Got checked out by the doctors. Went to the hospital. Nothing was wrong with me. Still don't know why I was passing out in the middle of the day. So while I was home, I don't think I had a job at the time, but I was collecting unemployment because again
Mhm.
I had left a job before
Yeah.
going on the road. So I was collecting unemployment, and I was paying the car note off and everything like that, buying groceries. So I figured like with my free time, what's a way, because I didn't like online gaming and I didn't like watching Netflix all the time. So I asked people
Yeah.
like, what is this PlayStation Home? Because on the PS3, for people that are online, you can see what they're doing, whether they're playing NBA 2K10, or they're playing a game, or they're watching Netflix, or they're on PlayStation Home. And like I asked like 5 people, what is PS Home? And they broke it down to me like it's an online gaming platform to connect with real life users. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, let me jump on PlayStation Home and find out what this is about. So, when you jump on home, you in these public servers and with these real life people, and they have these fams, as they call them, and
Yeah.
I got approached by
Bro.
by this. I think it was a young lady. I think it was a young lady at the time. I can't remember her name, but she invited me to her fam, and I just wanted to be connected with other people, so I joined the fam, and everything didn't work out, and I started my own fam. That didn't work out. Joined another fam. That didn't work out. I was like, I'm done with the fam scene. So just let me be, solo dolo with all these Jesus
Yeah.
on my list. And I went out and I started, connecting with different people. People would invite me to their clubhouses for like fam events and just community events all together.
Yeah.
Where it's like a Friday night house party, or hanging out at the playground or whatever. So I kind of got a name for myself, and people knew that I was a Christian. So I connected with a young lady named Isbrook Ann, which was her PlayStation home name. Isbrook Ann and her real life husband Yanye, they ran a production company, and because of all the talent and all the people that I was connected to, uh, Brooke Ann invited me to her entertainment business, and we started doing kind of like MTV Cribs, but on PlayStation Home. So I will go out and I will ask people like, "Hey, like, are you interested in having your Harbor Studio or your penthouse recorded and put on
Yeah.
my YouTube channel?" And
Bro, that's
people,
crazy. I
people say,
probably watched videos of yours back in the day. Like, not no joke. That's crazy. Like, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting because I'm like, I can't believe this part. Like, I've so much I could say about PlayStation Home. But anyways, I'm sorry. Anyways, you keep going.
so Isbrook and we ran with that idea, and I was her booking manager because I was going out to find the clients that wanted their places recorded and put on our
Yeah.
YouTube channel. Eventually we started doing like award shows, movies, documentaries, everything. And while I'm bringing in people, having their places recorded, time and dates and everything, because Brooke Ann, she worked a real life job.
Yeah.
So I'm unemployed again. Um, so I was working on her schedule, writing everything down, writing down the PlayStation Home user's name, the time that we're supposed to meet with Isbrook Ann, so that they can meet one another, so that they can add one another, so that that individual can invite Brooke Ann to his or her place, so it can be recorded. And I I think her name was Kat, or at least we called her Kat. She was like 15 or something. And Kat had invited me to her place, and then she invited this guy named Pastor Shekinah, who is a real life minister. He was actually in seminary school. His name is Keithan, Keithan Drake, if I'm not mistaken. That's his real life name, even now. So
Yeah.
Keithan said, like, I would like to have my place recorded. Thank you for inviting me, Kat. This is Eliseo Torrez, or whatever. He manages clients for Isbrook and blah blah blah. And because I'm a Christian, Keithan found out I'm a Christian. I had got connected with him, and he had one of his. I can't remember what kind of house it was, but he had a house set up in a memorial for his grandmother who had passed earlier that year. This
Oh
is like
man.
maybe 2013, 2014. I mean, no, 2011. I'm sorry, 2011. Um, so we got his place recorded, and shortly after meeting Keithan, I get a real life phone call while I'm at the red light. I'm on Langdon Farm. I'm coming up
Mhm.
Langdon Farm at the light by the fire station. I get a
Yeah.
real life phone call. I'm at the light. Hey yo, what's up? It's E. What's going on? And I can't remember who called me, but they was like, "Hey, you will never believe where I'm at right now." And I was like, "Where you at?" They was like, "I'm on I'm on PlayStation Home in church," and I was like, "Oh word!" So so give me 10 minutes. I'm on my way to the house right now. So, I get the promo. They invite me to the clubhouse. And then while I'm signing in, I'm messaging all the people that's online like, hey y'all, it's a church on PlayStation Home. If you need an invitation, come to Harbor Studio right now. And and I believe you can only fit 14 people in your house because you make the 15th person.
Yeah.
So everybody came to my Harbor studio, and I get the club promo. So I'm inviting all those 14 individuals like to the church, and we go to the church. And Keithan was one of the ones that was online at the time, and he came to my house. I gave him the promo. He went to the clubhouse. Now remind you, Keithan is studying in seminar school for real in real life.
Yeah.
He has credentials to be a pastor, blah blah blah, and he goes to real life church. So it was like two peas in a pie, like mashed potatoes and gravy. Like we went together perfect. And
I like that.
and after that first sermon, of course, like I was playing Christian hip hop when I was asked to, but I stood up in front of the church and I asked everybody on my microphone, like, "Hey, would you guys be interested in doing something like this every week?" And everybody said yes. I would love to come back. So
Wow, man.
so that started the PlayStation Home Church, and I can't remember like what month, what season, or anything. And again, so I'm doing the PlayStation Home Church. Keithan went out and bought a real life clubhouse, so he decorated the clubhouse into a church. And then a couple months after that, I bought a clubhouse and turned it into a church. So now we were, two ministries together.
Yeah.
And Isbrook and caught wind of it. Okay. Now I'm still working with the entertainment business, and I'm still going to church on Sundays, and I'm still going to real life church on Sundays too. So Isbrook and caught wind of it, right? And Brooke Ann, she messaged me like, "Hey, yo, E, we need to talk. Come to my place, blah blah blah." So I'm like, "Okay, yo, like, what's up?" Because like we're in the middle of shooting a movie, and we're organizing an award show, and like we was doing everything on a weekly basis. I mean, on a daily basis. Like it'll be like award show set up on like a Monday. It'll be movie rehearsal on a Tuesday evening, whatever. And I was busy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was busy.
That does not shock me about you, man. That does not shock me.
So Isbrook and invited me to her Harbor studio. She got on her microphone. She was like, "Hey, yo, E, I heard, you're doing the church thing now. So basically, I want to know where your loyalty is like." She said it in so many words, but that's what she was trying to aim at. That's what she was trying to get at. And it's either going to be, it's BNT Entertainment or the church. I was trying to like compromise. Like my church schedule has nothing to do with the entertainment, because like wherever you call me, that's where I'm at. Whether if it's the award show setup, movie setup, finding new actors and actresses that's interested in what we're doing. So it didn't collide. It didn't cause any friction. So I'm trying to figure out, how did Brooke Ann find out about the church? And anyway, I said, you know what? I'm going to go with the church. I appreciate everything that we have done together, but I'm going to go with the church. And before she can respond, she had deleted me because it kicked me out of her Harbor studio to my Harbor studio. And I was like, let me check my this just in case, because, people lose signal with their Wi-Fi connection. So maybe she like accidentally got kicked off. So, I gave it about 5 minutes to see if she would come back on. Never came back on. In the midst of me looking for her name, her husband's name popped online. And I'm like, okay, it's Yanye. Let me message him to find out like what happened with Brooke Ann. Like it's like what happened.
Yeah.
And can't remember if he responded or not. And I never heard from Brooke Ann after that.
Wow.
So,
man.
So I went to the YouTube channel. 5 months later or whatever, and every video that I was in, everything that I had did with Brooke Ann had been taken down. From the MTV movie cribs thing, the documentaries, the movies, anything my avatar was in was taken down. And
my goodness, talk about holding a grudge.
So this is what, 2011. I haven't heard from Brooke Ann since 2011. And after her kicking me from her Harbor studio, never communicating with me again, I went full-fledged with the church. So we started doing Bible studies. We started doing Friday night pool games, bowling games, Thursday night hanging out at the playground. We got like the church association clubhouse above our avatar names. We started going full-fledged. Like we started doing documentaries. Keithan was at National College. He was trying to get a master's or his bachelor's or something. So we helped him with a class project that he got an A on, and he passed the class. We started connecting with other believers, and then we found out that other people had other churches. So we wasn't the only, religious organization or church on PlayStation Home. So I started, connecting with other,
Yeah.
church organizations. So now I got promo to this clubhouse. They're doing something different on days where we're not active, and like we're supporting each other with different clubhouses and different churches. And we were active since from like 2011 to like 2014, because I want to say in 2014 they brought out the PlayStation 4, and because
I think that's right.
they had to take away PlayStation Home.
Yeah,
And I was like, bro, I'm not buying a PS4. Whatever money I didn't spend in the PlayStation store has been wasted, because I didn't buy Harbor Studios, I done bought houses, I done bought clothes, I done bought bundles. I can't get none of that money back. So anyway,
I feel the same way.
So that was that, and because of God moving through us on PlayStation Home, we were blessed to connect with real life people that we still consider friends now. Actually, on PlayStation Home, we got a chance to pray for people in different countries. People were getting like custody of their children. Like God was moving all over the board when it comes to like the PlayStation.
It's amazing, man. It really is.
And I met a lady named Miss Ladmay who did like in real life they have the Better Home and Gardens showcases in magazines and stuff. She was doing the similar thing on PlayStation Home. And I don't know if she was recording it or not or whatever, but she was doing somewhat of the same thing. And Miss Ladmay had inboxed me on PlayStation Home on the PlayStation and said, "Hey, yo, E, we need to talk because I had a dream about you." So we eventually get online together. She invites me to her place. She gets on her microphone and she says, "Are you sitting down?" And I say yes. So she sit on one couch, I sit on a different couch, and she tells me about this dream. Now I didn't share this dream with like people on the phone. I didn't share this dream with people in real life, but I've never shared it on like a podcast or anything like that. So this is like a one of one. This is the first time ever. So Miss Ladmay, she tells me that she had a dream, and it looked like she saw a bunch of people, but I was the only person that she recognized. And in the dream, I don't know if you remember the Lecrae video, Jesus Music, with him walking around the streets with big boombox and everything.
Yeah.
The dream was similar to that. It looks like I was the one holding the boombox, and it was all kind of people behind me, but I was the only one that she recognized. And I was like, now, Ms. Ladmay, we ain't never met in real life. We've been friends for, so many months, so many years, whatever. Like Ms. Ladmay was one of the few persons that I had invited into Isbrook and Entertainment as an actress, because again, we were doing movies, we were doing award shows, and she was one of the ones that was gonna like present the award. She was another one that was gonna be like an extra in a movie. So like we got history together before the PlayStation Home Church. And because of church, like she started going to like real life church, and so she was a friend. That's the point I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I knew that she wasn't lying, because it's who else gonna inbox you like, "Hey, yo, I had a dream about you. We need to talk." I mean that ain't a message that come across your screen too often.
That's not that normal.
So and from a person that you haven't met in real life.
Yeah.
Right. So I took it to heart, and so that was That was like 2014, 2013-ish. Fast forward, December 2015, Ricardo Lambert gives me the nickname KS, and in the same token, Orlando Presents invites me to his platform on Blog Talk Radio and gives me what he asked me about having my own radio show to start off 2016. So, he's told me to pray about it. I didn't have to pray about it because I knew the opportunity had fell in my lap. Again, I had been listening to Christian hip hop since 2011.
Yeah.
I had been going to the concerts here in Cincinnati since 2013. So I already knew all of the music I wanted to play, who was going to be my first guest, blah, blah, blah. In 2016, January 23rd, 2016, the KS Radio Show was birthed. Fast forward, still have those friends from PlayStation Home on my Facebook friends list now. Miss Lamé, we just talked probably about a month ago. And we talked on Instagram. I didn't even know you can make phone calls on Instagram until 2 months ago. When I talked to her, and we talked for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I still got the screenshot on my other cell phone. And I'm honored and blessed to, have those connections with those people that I met on PlayStation Home and transfer them over to real life. And, I still talk to Keithan every now and then because, he's busy with his sons. One of them just joined the military. He knows about Tristan and everything. So.
Man. So I want to interject for a second. First of all, you're blowing my mind because I thought I knew a lot of people played PlayStation Home, but I didn't know so many people played PlayStation Home that I would run into one and be good friends with one way after. I mean, it was shut down in 2015. So, yeah. And so for anybody that's listening, that did or watching this, that doesn't know what PlayStation Home is. So basically it was this free game that you could get on PlayStation 3. And it was like a social hub game. So you could go on and you'd have a character. You could make them look any certain way. You could get clothes. You could get houses. You could do all this stuff. And people took it so serious. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But and this is something that I haven't said on camera and I've told very few people. I even attended a wedding that was done online. Apparently they did a real one too, but they did one online and they even hired a minister for the online portion of it. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. People took this stuff very, very serious. And I was a part of one of the FAMs as well. And I remember being like, this sounds like the mafia type stuff. We had rankings, right?
Rules and regulations.
Yeah, I think I became a captain or whatever. I felt like I was in the Sopranos or something. I was like, what is this?
Right.
We're gonna be out here robbing people on PlayStation Home or something. You gotta pay us for protection. But no, and so connecting back to that though. So I want to talk about that because there's something so mind-blowing about it. I remember playing that game and, there were a lot of wholesome interactions, just good interactions, talking to people. But there was also a lot of kind of weirder stuff that could happen. I know some of the people that I hung around with, and this was during a time of my life that I was not spiritual basically at all. I had walked kind of away. During that time though, I was hanging out with people on there that were making bad decisions in real life and then making bad decisions online too. And, all this different stuff. So to hear something that, you guys created a church. I mean, it's a game, but you did a ministry in it. And that's amazing, man. It just shows that God can use literally any opportunity. So that's inspiring. I think a lot of people should look at that and say even it's something as simple as a free game that people were playing, you created a clubhouse. A clubhouse, by the way, allowed people to come in if they were a part of that club at any time. They could it wasn't Yeah, it wasn't like a personal space where like people had to be invited in by you. It was
Yeah,
like they could go in. I just hit my microphone. They could go in at any time on their own. So just kind of like a real church. Like
yeah,
people can go to churches, certain churches, I guess, and go in and pray and do whatever. And this was open 24/7. They didn't even have to leave their house.
yeah,
And I know some people, especially post COVID, are like, church at home's a bad thing. But some people don't
yeah,
have an option. Some people might be in rural areas where they might have one church and they may not agree with the doctrine of that church or something like that. Like there might be situations where you've got someone who needs that online interaction just for
yeah,
that. So, absolutely, man, it shows that God can use even the smallest thing to be such a huge ministry. And I don't doubt that on those experiences, you may have had, people that were getting saved in completely other countries and everything. Like it was so diverse and so interesting being on that game. And to know that while I was running around doing stupid stuff like getting into family arguments and all that stuff, you're over here working for God on PlayStation Home, bro. I love every time I talk to you, I'm just like blown away by the amount of stuff you've done for ministry, man. Like it's incredible. So, anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but I was just like, that's incredible. Like that is so
it's
great. And then to hear
it's
you still
definitely all
got those
good.
connections, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. I can pick up the phone and call Keithan right now.
Oh
For
man,
real,
nice, nice. I
for
love
real.
it.
And yeah, I'm definitely grateful and thankful for the connections that I have had and continue to make. Those are like lifelong friends that I would categorize them as, because no matter how much we don't talk or text, but when we do talk, it'll pick up right like that,
Yep.
as if we had just talked yesterday. Like the spirit, the laughs, the jokes, connections, all that, it comes back with that one phone conversation. No matter if it's been
Amen.
2 years since we haven't talked, 3 years since we haven't checked on one another. But when we talk, it'll pick right back up.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Well, that's absolutely wonderful. So that's where the KS radio show came in. I had no idea, but man, first of all, to know that that kind of technically originated out of PlayStation Home is wild.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
wonderful. So all right,
yeah.
so you start the KS radio show and it starts going. Now you've been doing this for quite some time then. You said 2015, 2016, 2016?
2016, January 2016. Yes, sir.
Man, yeah. So you've been running this for a while now. Tell me a little bit about the impact that that has had, and what impact it's had on you, and the impact on the community you've built in it.
So one, I call myself a voice of voiceless because I interact and I promote independent artists. And if you know anything about independent artists, especially in the music business, whether if it's gospel or not, without a label, without a marketing team to push your music is not getting heard. Which is
Yeah,
why someone like me, who has their own station that plays music, do interviews, whatever. You don't have to like necessarily pay somebody to play it, and I would take a chance with you to play your music, especially if it's Christ centered. You feel me?
yeah,
Whereas you could pay an AM FM station X amount of dollars to play your song 3 times a week,
yeah.
and they may or may not play it because they could just take your money and run with it.
Yep.
And I learned that um, the reason why we hear a Beyonce song so many times in an hour frame on an AM FM station is because that label has paid so much money to play that song five
Wow.
times in a 2 hour frame.
Yeah.
So I got tired of that, and certain radio stations here, 24-hour stations will say, hey, we support the local talent or, the Cincy artists. And I listen to the station and I don't hear none of the people that I know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hear no drama. I don't hear no Caleb Starr. I don't hear no Jillian Ellis. I don't hear no Constance D's. I don't hear none of the people that I see at these concerts. So when Orlando approached me about this opportunity, it was an automatic yes. And I had been, connecting with people all over the board in Columbus, Dayton, Cleveland. So when I made the post like, hey, y'all, 2016, I'm starting my own radio show. Who would like to be a guest? No wonder why I had over 100 comments.
Absolutely.
Because I had already been connected with different people. And for the people who I didn't know, they were tagging those individuals, which is how I got my first guest. Jania was my first guest. And I just interviewed Jania a couple months ago. So we're still rocking with each other. And the impact that it has had on me specifically is to know that I am a necessary good, should I say, because of the service, the networking possibility that I have, and just offering a chance for someone to be heard, whether it's telling their testimony for the first time, whether it's promoting their business or their book for the first time, or playing their song before it's actually released. Things like that gives me hype.
Yeah.
To know that I
Absolutely.
had a small portion in that. And now, so again, that was 2016. Found out that my child's mother, Christiana, was having our son in February of 2017. So the KS Radio Show has been around since since before Tristan's birth. So now, Tristan's growing up. He's 3 years old. Hold on, let me rewind. He's like 2 months old at his first music video shoot, and then he's like 6 months old, still in the stroller at another video shoot.
Man.
So and now he's walking and talking. He's having people know him. So when he goes to events with me, he actually like hugs and jumps on people and stuff like that. So the impact it has had, in my opinion, is on my son. Of course, with the different guests and different artists that I play, but more so on my son, and just to see how he reacts to the music at 2 years old. Of course, he doesn't know everything that's being said, but he's jumping around and he's dancing to the beat. And all of that comes from the impact I have had on his life through the music, through the KS Radio Show. So I'm thankful for that. And of course, from a business aspect, I'm able to go in and see the different feedback, see the different comments, read the different reviews. When I'm feeling discouraged, or when I get to a certain level in ministry and I think I'm not doing enough, or maybe I'm doing too much, or this mountain I'm trying to climb, I'm facing this obstacle, I'm going through this amount of depression. Just to hear people's feedback about the service that I offer through the KS Radio Show, it helps pull me out of that dump, that hole. And so it has had an impact on me, as well as my son, as well as the people that I have interviewed for the first time, for the 5th time, played their music for the 10th time, whatever the situation may be. So that's the impact it has had, not only on me, but my son, and also the different guests and different people that listen to the radio show in different countries.
Absolutely, man. So I want to tell you how I connect to that too, because I'm very passionate about music. I've always loved music. I grew up on rap and rock. Loved both. And I mean, I'm talking like bands like Metallica, Green Day, Linkin Park, that kind of thing. Yeah. Also, along with rappers like Eminem, Lil Wayne, kind of Drake, but he was a little later on, that kind of stuff. And even not all that crazy long ago, my favorite rapper was XXX Tentacion, and that should tell you enough just in the name. So I had not really heard much Christian hip hop before actually already being kind of deep in my walk with God. I had still been listening to like extremely secular music and everything. And to a point, it did convict me, but I was kind of like, well, what do I do? Just stop listening to all music or just listen to like old hymns or something? Which I love old hymns, but in a church setting. Like, I'm not going to be driving down the street just, I'll fly away absolutely blasting, that kind of thing. So, actually, that's a lie. I legit have Johnny Cash's version of I'll Fly Away on my Spotify playlist. So, actually, I just lied, but, anyways. But so I remember my first interaction where I heard about Christian hip hop was initially from my wife Rachel. Her mom came to pick us up and we were going to a movie theater and she's bumping Lecrae and I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty good. And I'm listening and I'm like, man, she goes to church all the time. She's listening to rap. And then I start listening to lyrics. I'm like, he just say Jesus? Like, what's going on here? And then it started connecting for me. But I still was like, I still want to listen to my stuff. I still held on to like what I liked. So then flash forward a couple years and there's a pastor I was connected with and me, him and his son, shout out to Jair, good friend of mine. We went to a Reds game together. I'm, as you can see behind me, big Reds fan, all that stuff. Anyways, we went to a Reds game. And while we were there, I asked him like, hey, have you heard, I think it was somebody just dropped new music or something. Anyways, I basically was like, have you heard this yet? And he goes, no, I don't listen to secular music. I was like, I don't even know what secular means. What are you talking about? And he goes, yeah, exactly. That's how far out I was. He goes, well, anything that's not Christ-centered. And I was like, oh, you're one of those, like, that kind of thing. I was like, really? But then he said something and it hit me so deep. Like, I tried to go back to listen to my music and I couldn't after I heard this. He goes, well, let me ask you about those songs. Do you agree with the messages in them? And I was like, no, but I listen to them for the music, for the beats and stuff. He goes, well, how long can you truly listen to that music before the words start to minister to you? And I was like, wow, okay, yeah, no, you're right. Like, to a degree, you can say, oh, I just like this music. But eventually that still is putting repetition in your head. Like, you're still listening to these messages, whether you agree with them or not, they're sticking in with you. And more they become normal. So anyways, I literally was like, man, okay, well, so I was like, all right, I got to go check out this Christian hip hop stuff because now I need to get into something. And I was mainly listening to rap at the time. And the very first song that I listened to, and no diss to him, his music now is incredible, but Zonti, I heard Zonti's God Taught Me. And to be honest, I did not like it that much. I was like, oh, yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but it wasn't for me. And I was like, bro, this is going to be hard. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Now looking back, it's actually a better song than I thought. But I was looking at it as like, oh, this is cheesy. It's not that good. But then the second song was NF and Flame, and Start Over. And I was like, okay, I can bump this, not bad. And then I found KB and I was like, KB.
I'm all in now.
Oh man. And this was not like he had just dropped HGA. He had just dropped potentially, in my opinion, one of the greatest, if not the greatest CHH albums ever dropped in HGA.
You talking about the first one, right?
Yes, the first one. The second one, I love it too. But the first one, I was like, this is incredible. And I started from there and just kind of started listening to more. But even to show you the impact that you have had, once I found out about you and we met at KB's concert, technically, and then met after too. But once we met up, and I started listening to your radio show and everything, it was like I started hearing about these other artists, and now I've got people like Salt of the Earth, Aram, those guys in my playlist. And they're people I would have never heard about. Like I would have never had a clue. So like you make an impact, man, and that's incredible. So you really are giving these people extra exposure, and that in itself is a form of ministry because you're also spreading their testimonies, you're spreading their messages. And as long as that is a Bible-centered message, which I've never heard a single guest on your show that I've been like, oh, I don't agree with that. But if that's the case, you're spreading the gospel. You're letting these people spread the message of the gospel through their music, and that's furthering the gospel. And anything like that, that's an amazing ministry. So I admire it a lot. And to see you so strong about it even years later, I mean, I've done this YouTube thing for a short time and had burnout. Like, I don't know how you do it, but I'm extremely impressed and I respect it, man. I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. So let's go on to one other thing. So you are in the KS radio show and that's going well. Now, you've also taken on a couple different forms here. You've got Kruisin With KS, you got connected with the Godson Podcast, you help out all these other people. Tell a little bit about how that happened.
Okay, so again, going back to that burnout period, I was taking a break from the KS radio show, and I want to say it was a Friday night. I can't remember who I had interviewed, but Jay Measy had called me after the interview. So it's like, KS radio show from 8 to 10, so maybe he called me about 11-ish, and we talked for about 20 minutes. He was like, "Hey, yo, bro, God put it on my heart to give you a call and ask you if you would like to be a co-host on the show." So while he's talking to me on the phone, I'm thinking about Dupree just dropped the album 2 weeks ago. Ariana Marie is working on something. Faith Torres just dropped a video 3 days ago. Yeah, I can be a co-host.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I tell Jamie that on the phone. And I was like, bro, I'm gonna call them tomorrow. I'm not gonna text them. I'm gonna call them. I'm not gonna DM them. I'm gonna call them tomorrow to see if they're interested. And they was. So I told them what we were trying to do. It'd be a video interview. We'd play music and everything like that. And we ran with it. So that was August last year. Yeah, that was August last year. And it was shortly after I had started Kruisin With KS, which is the car content, because I have been a car enthusiast all my life. I've been a car enthusiast since I was Tristan's age, or even before Tristan's age.
Yeah.
I would take like the little cars, little Hot Wheels cars, and I would race them around my mother's 8-track in Las Vegas. It takes my mom to tell the story. I've been a car enthusiast all my life. So that's how I got connected with Jay Measy, and he had saw my name on different review shows. Like, who is this Eliseo Torrez guy? He's always sending in music. Who is he? So he sent me a friend request, and it went from there.
Yeah.
So in the midst of having a radio show, you need promotional material, which is where the graphics come in. So January 2016 to April 2016, I didn't have any graphics. Okay, so I was just throwing up random pictures like, "Hey, y'all, tune in." They were so unprofessional. I don't even like looking at them pictures nowadays.
Trust me, I know the feeling.
But Ricardo Lambert had I had told Ricardo, who was the same person who gave me the nickname KS. I had told him like, "Hey, bro, I got these guests coming up in April." And he did a flyer out of love. And I asked him like, how did you make this? And he told me about Pixar. It was a free trial, whatever. And so I downloaded Pixar, started doing my own graphics. So 2016, 2017, guess out the wazoo. Took a break. 2018, I'm still at it. 2019, still doing the radio show, still doing my own graphics. And 2020, I started my own blog talk network. And I want to say Gigi was my first guest in 2020. I think Gigi made 3 different appearances, like January 2020, April 2020, July 2020. She was back to back to back to back to back.
Wow. Yeah.
And I had I was still making my own graphics, and I got connected with a young lady named Gloria Shalom in a Christian group chat. I don't know, something on Messenger. And this was like 2017. I didn't listen to her music until like 2019.
Yeah.
So I was like, why am I just now hearing this? Like 4 songs. Like I listened to like 15 seconds of every song, and it just didn't resonate with me at the time. So I went back in 2019 with a fresh ear, and I listened to whatever she had sent in the group chat. I said, "Oh, this is fire! Like this isn't hip hop, this isn't rap, but it's still what I got." And again, I had already been hip to singers like Jillian Ellis, Constant D's, so many others. So why not promote an independent artist on a professional level? Because I'm trying to be more professional in 2020. So I called up Glory, or I messaged her or something, and I asked her, because you have a business, shalomshe.com, which is where women can go and shop. Could I announce your business on my show, and can I put the website in the description? She said yes. April 2020, we had our first interview. Me and Gloria have talked almost every day since 2020. No cap.
Wow.
She's a good friend of mine. She's also very professional when it comes to graphics. So when I make a graphic, Gloria is the first person who I send it to get feedback, and she's no holds barred with it. When if I like it or not, Eliseo, this is a wet picture. It's not censored. Use a different color. Blah blah blah. Like Gloria would let me have it, and I would have to go back to the drawing board. So shout out to Gloria Shalom, and vice versa. When she is working on a, artists, they like to do cover arts or for a new single that they're putting out. Gloria would send me the rough draft pictures before she actually makes the announcement on social media.
Okay, sorry, we had to take a short break there. Some tech issues, but continue what you were saying.
I forgot what I was saying.
I forgot too. No, you were talking about the graphics, and you were talking about how.
Yeah. So just connecting with different people, and I mean, if I had the money like that, yes, I would hire a graphic designer. But hey, save yourself some money, design your own graphics. And Gloria Shalom has been influential when it comes to helping me make better graphics, and now I'm able to teach other people like Jay Jared how to make better graphics. But the cost of nothing.
Yeah.
Because everything doesn't need to have a price tag on it. And because I've been in radio since 2016, whatever music I receive, whether it's exclusive, whether it's new, whether it's something I download, something I stream, I share it to the other radio personalities and radio hosts like yourself, like Jay Jared, like Jet Black from Must Be Heard Radio, like Irregular Raps. I think his name is Adrian. Yeah, his name is Adrian. And then again, just continue to get those emails from everybody, whether if it's a sneak preview, which is like, hey, listen to this, let me know your thoughts, but do not play it on the show. Or you do have permission to play it on the show. Or I buy a song early, like I've bought. So usually downloads and streams are like 99 cents, right? Or $1.29. Yeah. So I would cash out the artist like $5 for you to send me the MP3 a month early if you got it, just so I can support. And it's been beneficial. I've had a chance to host count on two hands how many concerts I've hosted and organized, and
Yeah,
just to see how God is moving through my life just because of this radio aspect, this supporting aspect, his radio show thing that he has entrusted me to. It's nothing but mind blowing. And
yeah,
I'm thankful and
absolutely.
grateful for the opportunities to not only connect with different people, but also, just be a servant in the kingdom. And for my son to see that example, because every child, whether boy or girl, son or daughter, niece or nephew, they need to see a positive example in their lives. Because guess what?
Absolutely.
We, we, we learn how to do wrong because we're shaped in iniquity, right?
Yep.
So
You're right.
it's the flesh. We already know how to do wrong. We
Yep.
need somebody to teach us how to do right. And I'm
Absolutely.
thankful for Christ being in my life so I can be present in their lives and show them what a positive influence looks like, what a godly influence looks like.
Yep. Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head right there. If nothing else, if this ministry of yours was for nothing else, literally no other impact, the impact that you're making on your son is extremely important. My kids, same thing. I go up and preach, and when I'm preaching in churches or anything, my kids see me in that act of faith, standing up there preaching the word to all these people, and they know that daddy is scared, daddy's nervous about this. I don't like being in front of crowds. I don't like public speaking or anything. But then they see me go and do that act of faith and stepping up for God, doing what he's called me to do. And so that impact alone is important. To see you walking in what you're supposed to be doing and what you've been called to do by God, that's what he needs to see. And then on top of that, seeing the fellowship between fellow believers, that's an incredible impact too. Sometimes I believe, especially as kids, sorry, I believe, especially as kids, like when you're growing up in a Christian household, there is kind of this alienation you can feel from the world because the
Mm-hmm.
world is caught up in all the secular things. So when going to school, like, even at an older age, when I was actually, still claiming spirituality and everything, and at one point even coming back into it, uh people would make fun of me because I wouldn't cuss. And it was like, what? Like, but it was just another way that the world would make you feel alienated. So
Right.
to see fellowship at such a young age is extremely important because it builds that sense of community and doesn't make him feel alienated in his faith. So that's incredible. Um, okay, so I've kept you on the show for quite some time. So let's go into some wrapping up, end of show topics. So, next I want to talk about your goals for all of these ministry forms, for the future. What are your goals from here on out? However far you want to go is totally fine. But what are the goals for the future?
Okay, so for the KSradioshow, I just want to be consistent in whatever I'm doing and make sure that I'm being obedient to God, whether it fits who to reach out to, what music to play. I don't want everything again to have a price tag, but again, it is ministry. Again, I do receive some funds from it, but everything doesn't need a price tag. So I'm
Yeah.
just thankful and grateful to be that vessel that God has entrusted me to and called me to, and just continue to be consistent. Again, I've been doing this since 2016. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, and I
Amen.
just want to network. Just want to get I just want to allow others to share their testimony, whether it's at an event, whether it's on a show. I don't have a set number of interviews that I want to do a year or anything like that, but I
Yeah.
just want to be consistent, period. And for my goals for Kruisin With KS, I recently found out because of YouTube about a month or two ago, you're able to monetize your channel with 500 subscribers. So I'm already over the limit. You guys already know I'm at 630 subscribers. Praise be to God.
Amen.
I just want to be consistent with the content. And when Tristan gets of age, because he's 6 years old now, he'll be 7 in February. When he gets old enough to drive, 16, 17, 18 years old, I want YouTube to pay for his car. If it makes anything.
Hey, I like
That's my
that.
only goal. That's
I
my
like
only
that.
goal. Now,
Yeah.
hey, I get a chance to, test drive a Lamborghini or buy myself a Lamborghini. In between then praise the Lord.
Hey, I respect the dream, man. I respect it. You do you.
But
Oh, that's
my only goal is
fantastic.
to, just provide for my son, sustain myself, and just continue to be a blessing to God's people, both with Kruisin With KS as well as the KS Radio Show, and anything that I'm doing in between them. Because you guys know, I go to church on Sundays, and part of the church with New Beginnings Church of the God, I'm part of the media team. So when I get to the church, I make sure that the mics are on, I make sure that the camera is working, all that stuff. And then for outside events or youth events, they ask me like, could I find entertainment? So because I'm in radio, I'm connected to all the local artists, so they're only a phone call or a text away.
Yep.
So I'm serving in that capacity as well, and I'm definitely grateful and thankful for again the connections I have made both in the KS Radio Show with Kruisin With KS as well as the different people that I have connected with my church family as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I should mention this, us being so close together, at some point I'm going to have to visit your church and you're going to have to visit a church when I'm preaching.
Yeah.
I'm currently with two different churches. It's kind of a weird scenario, but one only has service on Sunday morning, and then the other has service Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night. So I'm kind of split between those two right now. But yeah, man, we'll have to connect about that as well. So I love hearing that though.
Do they offer live stream?
Yes. So one is Carthage Baptist Church. They only stream on Facebook, and it's
Right.
like I think
Not,
they
not
only do Sunday morning and Sunday night. I don't think
only
they
on
do.
Facebook.
Yeah, only on Facebook. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else. Yeah, so they have that, and then Carthage Church of the Nazarene. Both of them are named Carthage, so it makes it very confusing for me. But
Okay.
Carthage Church of the Nazarene, they stream on YouTube. So between those two, that's the churches that I'm with currently. So
Okay,
you
well,
can
yes,
find.
send me a link. I would love to watch any previous sermons that you have preached because
Yeah,
I want to be a
definitely.
support to you.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I did a sermon there, my first sermon at the Nazarene Church, not all that long ago, but the only thing was it was one that God had essentially called me to do at this new church that I had done at the other church. And I had already recorded it for YouTube at the other church. So I was like, I don't want to record the same thing and then, upload it again. So I was like, I won't do that. So, so my first sermon there I have not put on YouTube yet. But I'm probably going to be preaching there again real soon. So, in that, I definitely will put that on YouTube. Cause it'll be something probably new and fresh. So anyways, turning back though. So I love your future goals there. I want to essentially give this time for you to give any kind of final thoughts. Anything else you feel like you need to mention during this show. Whatever else you want to talk about or focus on, all yours.
Got you. So, for those who are wanting to do something great in life, and you're really not sure what it is, consult with God, ask God, because in God speaks in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke to
Amen.
me in a dream. He woke me up out of my sleep and told me, "Don't be selfish with your support, otherwise your talent won't go far." I grabbed the first piece of paper that I could find and I wrote that down. I've been
Amen.
carrying that message ever since. Now, for the religious people out there, I know that has no scriptural reference. There's no Genesis verses 5 and 38. None of that. I get it. But when God puts something on your heart and He calls you to something, you automatically know it. I mean, you automatically know it.
Actually,
And
there is kind of a small, not exact scriptural reference there, but even Samuel was woken up out of his sleep by God multiple times, and that's when he got his calling, and God told him exactly what he needed to do. So, I mean, even in that, it's proven God can speak to you in dreams. He can speak to you in your sleep. He can, he calls people in all different ways. Absolutely. So. Sorry, I didn't mean to
absolutely,
interrupt, but I wanted to add that on.
all good, all good. So I took what God told me and I ran full fledged with it. Of
Absolutely.
course, losing the friendship with Isbrakan and everything like that, it paid off because in the end, I'm doing God's ministry,
Yep.
God's work on PlayStation Home, transferred it over to real life, and now those same people on PlayStation Home are now my real life connection. Because of all the work, marketing, promoting, networking that I did on PlayStation Home, again, with all the clients we brought in, transferred all that energy into real life, which is why it's so easy for me to meet people, get so many guests. That's why the KS Radio Show and the Godson Podcast is booked all the way until January.
Yeah.
Because of all the work that I did on PlayStation Home. And it's like second nature to me.
Yeah.
So God would take what you're already good at in the world and He will help you use it for the building of His kingdom.
Absolutely,
So whether
man.
it's preaching, whether it's teaching, whether it's painting, whether it's dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's organizing, whether it's administrative work, whatever it may be that you are good at in the world,
Yep.
God will take it and use it for His glory. Okay? You
That's
just have
right.
to be committed with your yes and let your yes be yes and let your no be no because God
Yep.
knows.
Yep.
Okay? Second point that I want to mention is that because you're so good or you've done something so long, don't be afraid to do something totally brand new,
Yep.
totally left field. Okay? Because again, the KS Radio Show is about music, about testimonies, about supporting. Kruisin With KS is all about cars, motorcycles, anything that I put my eyes on that I enjoy.
Yep.
Okay? And music and cars, they don't go together because this is the Kruisin With KS community are not all Christians.
Yeah.
Yes, radio show artists and guests are all believers. So the two don't already mix. But because of my personality, which God gave me, because of the gift that God gave me, which is connecting with people, talking to people, networking, I'm able to thrive in this new arena in my life, which is Kruisin With KS. So my point is, when you choose to do something or God puts something else on your heart that's totally different from what you're already doing, just know that there is a community of people that will welcome you. Okay? And I get it. A lot of people say to themselves that I don't want to try something new because I don't know if I'm going to be received. I don't want to do something new because I don't know if I'm going to have as much support as I
Yeah.
have with this that I've been doing for the past 10 years or whatever. But God is always doing a new thing. You just have to, when God shifts, you need to shift too.
That's right.
Okay? Because we don't know where the blessing is going to come. If I told you May 2021 that I would lose my job, and in that same moment God would tell me to start a YouTube channel, and I didn't start. I mean, May 2022. I'm sorry. And I didn't start the YouTube channel until August 2022. I would have never thought that I would be able to test drive vehicles. I would never thought that I would be invited to private events specifically for cars. But because I stepped out in obedience with the car content, with starting the channel, with people giving me a logo, with being connected to different car events, that's all God. And now I'm doing, just like I did KSradioshow interviews with artists, now I'm doing car enthusiasts and photographers and vloggers and different people in the car community and the bike community interviews, just so that they can tell their testimony, how they got involved with cars. And because I'm trenched in Christian hip hop, I'm able to mix Christian hip hop in the car content because we play music videos on the live interviews. And hey, again, back to your point, that's the exposure for those artists that I'm playing, whether it's music, videos, whatever. So just be passionate about something, and when God shifts or calls you to something different, just shift with Him. Just shift with Him, because God won't give vision where He hasn't already made provision, which is the resources. So just trust God, and just let your yes be yes, and let your no be no, because they say in the streets, real recognize real. So you gotta be authentic with the things that you do, and if you're not called to it, if God hasn't entrusted you to it, it's okay to say no. So when God calls you to something, when He entrusts you to it, when you get goosebumps because you hear about it, it's time to move forward with that. And I just want to double back a little bit, because I didn't have a chance to say this during the testimony part of the show. So again, Miss Latmay told me about her dream, right? Before the KSradioshow was conceived and birthed, right? While I was traveling with Eddie James Ministries, I will never forget this. We were in East St. Louis, Illinois. We were there for about a week for some kind of conference, and there's a guy named Tobin, Tobin. Tobin was he was the leader of Excalibur, which is the dancing ministry that Eddie James had. Tobin, in the middle of worship, Tobin had approached me at the end of the service, while everybody was like laid out in the spirit, and he grabbed my hands and he prophesied to me, and he said that what God has given me, don't laugh, because I laughed after he told me, what God has given me will be like chocolate to the world. And it sounded like chocolate would flow from my hand. But what he was talking about is the love that I have for music will flow from my hands onto other people. Now, why he called it chocolate, don't ask me. That's what the Lord gave him.
Hey, he works in mysterious ways, right?
I was like, and like I'm sitting there, I'm listening to him, and he said chocolate, and I opened my eyes. Okay, you said chocolate, okay.
All right, chocolate, whatever you say, man. I'm sure.
So shortly after that, came back home, jumped on PlayStation Home, started a family, all that other stuff. And then, I got connected with Keith, and I got connected with It's Brookannon. I met, I think her name is Kendra. I can't remember what her avatar name was now. But those are 3 people that I can name off the top of my head that I have their phone numbers. We still talk, and we still keep in contact even from the PlayStation Home days.
It's fantastic, man.
And if you guys need any links to any of the faith-based documentaries or faith-based movies that we did, or anything like that, inbox me, because they're on my other YouTube channel and I lost access to it. But once you put something on the internet, you can always get it back. So YouTube, I go right
honestly, I would be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, like old sermons that I preached, they call them complications. So
Yeah.
we had we had week long complications on PlayStation Home with different ministers bringing the word. We was doing
Wow.
everything on PlayStation Home, bro.
That's awesome, man. I cannot believe that part. Like, I'm sitting here playing PlayStation Home, and so I want to talk about a few things real quick before we close up. But there's one thing that I got to ask you about. Do you remember the personal space and the public space where you could have like your very own dolphin, and then like the dolphin would go enter races, and you could like, I
Yeah,
don't remember how it worked, but you like bet on the races?
yeah,
Bro,
you would bet on the
I
race.
I think I had a gambling addiction. I spent so much time
So much money.
so much time on those dolphin races. Like, that's the dumbest thing I think I've ever said in my life, first of all. Second of all, I spent so much time. Here you are doing church. Here I am doing dolphin races. Oh, man. But it just shows
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
First of all, that's incredible. It's incredible how you have now been at this for so many years. I mean, technically, you could say over a decade. You could say over a decade you've been doing all of this. And
yeah,
that all started from a free video game called PlayStation Home on PlayStation 3. That's incredible. So I love that. Absolutely. Now you did say something that I wanted to double down on. I totally agree with you in this. You said if you don't feel a call for something, don't do it. Now, I
yeah,
couldn't agree with that more, because I feel like I have met people, and I'm definitely not going to say any names or anything. I feel like I've met people who are in certain positions where they say like, "Yep, I'm in this position because God called me," but everything about it seems off. It seems like
yeah,
they were not called to that, or their feeling on that call is very shaky. Like, I can tell you
yeah,
rock solid, when I got the call to ministry, I talked about it in the Continue and Don't Stop interview, and I'm sure I'll probably talk about it on KS as well. But when I got the call to ministry, I was getting fired from my job. Like
yeah,
worst case scenario, my wife was pregnant with our third child. It was right before Christmas, all this different stuff. It should have been the absolute lowest moment of my life. And just like a broken record going off in my head, God was literally speaking to me saying, "You're going to go into ministry. You're going to go into ministry. You're going to go into ministry." And I sat there and I didn't hear a word. Here I am in front of this boss who does not like me. That's a whole nother story. And a
yeah,
wild one at that. But here he is. He's going off on me. I mean, he's teeing off like he's on Wildin' Out, and he's trying to just roast me the whole time. I mean, it's like it was like that level. And I'm sitting here and I can't even pay attention to what he's saying, because I'm like, am I really like, why is this? Why am I even thinking about this? What is happening? And then finally I couldn't run from it anymore. I even tried to make excuses, much like Moses. Like, I'm not the most eloquent speaker. I'm not the most educated. And in fact, I believe that when you do receive a call, much like you said with your personality, God will provide a gift for that call. Mine,
mhm,
I couldn't read the Bible for nothing before my call to ministry. I was
mhm,
terrible at it. My Bible knowledge, and I couldn't do like Bible trivia or anything like that. I would have no clue. If it wasn't like a basic kids Bible story, I didn't know anymore. Now I can read the Bible, and every time I'm like, this is so amazing. Like, I'm literally, maybe I don't understand literally everything first read, but I understand so much more. And the only thing that changed was that call to ministry. It wasn't me suddenly paying more attention. It wasn't me reading certain commentaries or anything like that. It was literally me and the Bible and the Holy Spirit, and that's it. But the difference was I was now called to this. So when you get
Yeah.
that calling, you will know it will be rock solid. If you do not have that calling, you should not be doing whatever you're planning on doing. Like ultimately that becomes for a selfish factor. And I personally don't agree with that. I do
Yeah.
believe that everybody has a call to some form of ministry, and it can be going out and talking to people. It can be, whatever it is. My wife, we're expecting our fifth child. And just found out it's a boy. So that video will be uploaded before this one. So 4 boys, 1 girl. Thank you. But anyways, with that, in every pregnancy that she's been in these like Facebook mom groups, right? They're talking about how big their baby bumps are getting and, all this stuff. They're constantly talking. And she has always managed to have an impact on somebody in one of those groups. And many of them, like she still has friends from a lot of those groups that she talks to regularly, and
Yeah.
they will come to her about different things, and she can always put a spiritual outlook on it. So,
Yeah.
even in that, like you can be called into any form of ministry. It's just stepping forward in the faith and accepting it, much like you were
Yeah.
saying, being willing to step out and do something different.
Yeah.
That it's a hard thing. Creating the YouTube channel and everything for me was, I mean, I didn't think, if I'm being real, dude, I am sitting here right now with over 170 subscribers, partially in thanks to you. But I'm sitting here with over 170, and I'm like, I legit did not think I'd make it past like 20. Like
Yeah.
I was not the most popular guy. I don't know that many people in person that I'm like, hey, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is just like random growth. Like I do talk to some people about it, but for the most part, I'm like, I leave everything online, and then I talk to people God central first. I don't necessarily just bring up my YouTube channel. I focus on the main thing there. And then some people, I will tell them like, hey, I talked about this on my like a sermon or whatever. You might want to check this out. Something like that. But very rarely do I ever bring it up. Yet there is continuous growth. And it just shows like I was so scared to do it. But if you step forward in faith, he will continue to provide. It can't fail. It can't fail. If he's called you to it and you step forward with that faith, it can't fail. You got to just continue in that faith. So,
Amen.
I really like all those points that you brought up right there at the end. I love it. So, anyways, man, we'll close it up here. I'd like to go ahead and close us in prayer. Traditionally, I do it, but I figured, Eliseo, would you like to lead us in prayer?
Absolutely. Before we pray, for those who want to follow me, you guys can
Oh,
follow me
yes.
at
I'm
KS.
sorry.
You guys can follow me at KSradioshow anywhere on social media. I believe I have a Twitter page. Can't tell you the last time I posted on it, but definitely follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook as well. I now do interviews on the Eliseo Torrez YouTube channel, so you guys can definitely check that out as well as the Godson Podcast and the Godson Listening Party as well, all on YouTube. And for those who are interested in cars, or you have a son or a daughter or a niece or a nephew, or maybe you like cars yourself and you're interested in the content that I put out, you guys can find me at Kruisin With KS, KRUISIN, with KS, everywhere on social media. I'm on TikTok, on Instagram, as well as Facebook and YouTube. So definitely tap in with me. And if you are a car enthusiast and you want to book an interview, DM me, inbox me, and we can go from there. If you are an artist, or you are an author, or you just want to get your testimony out there, you want to share your testimony or whatever business or ministry aspect you are in, you want to interview, you can inbox me or DM me on KSradioshow, and I will be surely to get back in contact with you whenever I have a chance. I'm particularly very quick with responses, so just hit me up on any of those social media platforms, and we can get something scheduled. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to you, John, for inviting me on the show. I want to give a shout out to my mom, sister, my family. Alexis, who is my sister, we're 15 months apart. All of her kids, who are my nieces and nephews, Caden, Kinsley, Carrington, and Baton Jr., as well as my son Tristan, as well as my nephew Julian, and my oldest niece Lizzie, and just all the people that have supported me on both spectrums, from KS Radio Show as well as Kruisin With KS. It's a lot of y'all, but y'all know who y'all are. You guys are the KS Nation, and I appreciate all the support from the bottom of my heart. Whether you have listened to the show in a different country, whether you have written a review on my Facebook page, or whether you have, listened to the music that I played, or even sent me music, whatever it is that you have supported me in any capacity, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And again, let's go ahead and go into prayer, because prayer changes everything.
It
Not
sure
just some
does.
things. Prayer changes everything.
That's
In
right.
the presence of a righteous man or a woman availeth much, and God has his ear turned toward those who constantly pray and who believe in the power of prayer. So let's go ahead and pray. First and foremost, Father God, we want to say thank you for this day. I think today is the 22nd of August. So we thank you for another Tuesday, oh Lord. Thank you for just bringing us until this moment in time. God, thank you for John and the ministry and this podcast. I pray that you just bless him. Oh Lord, bless his family, bless his wife. That and I hope that she will have a quick and very healthy pregnancy. Hopefully, it will be natural. But Lord, we just thank you for life. Thank you for the son, the other son that his wife is going to give birth to. Just continue to bless their household, bless their finances, Lord. Whatever it is that they stand in need of, may you be their post for them to meet. Just be that light in their life. Continue to encourage them. Continue to encourage John and pour out as he pours out to your people, whether it's on his podcast, on the blog, whether it's meeting with Reds players or sports fans, or just people in his congregation, or just people in the grocery store, barbershop, whatever it is he may be at, wherever he is pouring out at, may you just continue to point to him and just help him be a more bolder, more influential servant of yours, oh Lord. Bless my son, bless my family, bless those who are listening and watching tonight, whoever may watch this replay. Lord, I know that there is a lot of uncertainty in the world. I know it may seem like that us as believers that we are losing this battle, but God, may you encourage us and just let us know that we fight from a place of victory instead of being a victim. Lord, thank you for your son that died for us, that shed his precious blood on the cross for our sins. And Lord, I pray that whoever may hear this message will take that to heart, and that hopefully a seed is planted, Lord, so that you can water it ultimately, Lord, so you can make it grow, and you can grow that individual wherever it is that they stand in need of, wherever they are in their spiritual walk, whether they believe in you or not. Help them know and see that you are the true God, that you are the one and only Elohim. Lord, if there's anything that we have said, anything that we have done, or anything that we have thought about that is against your will, that is against your ways, both knowingly and unknowingly, the sins that we have committed knowingly and unknowingly, may you forgive us of our sins. May you continue to mold us and shape us into the image that you have created us in, and help us thrive in the arenas and the different areas of life that you have called us to, whether it's helping us in our finances, whether it's in our health, whether it's just being more consistent with communication with you, whether it's reading our Bibles more, whatever it is, oh Lord, help us become better at it. And Lord, we thank you. Let your will be done on tonight. Let your will be done on tomorrow. Let your word go forth. Let your love be felt in the things that we do, in the things that we say, in the way that we act, in the character that we display. And Lord, for those who don't know you in the departing of their sins, I pray that you just make yourself available to them, make yourself real to them on tonight, and just have your way in my life, oh Lord. Help me continue to be the vessel that you have called me and entrusted me to be. whoever it is that may be facing depression, even myself, just encourage me in that aspect, or in that, or encourage the listeners on tonight in that aspect. Help them overcome. Help them know that they can be conquerors and more than overcome the Lord. Just help them be a light. Help them see the light so that they can be the light. Help them taste and see that you are good, so that they can go out and be the salt of the earth, and just continue to be influential in our lives, continue to lead us and guide us. And Lord, train our ears, be more sensitive to your voice, so that we can know when you say stop, so we can know when you say go, so we can know when you say slow down, so we can know when you say turn left, go back, go forward, go right. Whatever it is that you are telling us, oh Lord, whether it's pray for this person, whether it's give this person $5, whether it's give that homeless man your last cheeseburger that you just bought from Burger King, or whatever restaurant you're eating at, Lord, be more sensitive to your spirit, to your voice, and just ultimately, Lord, let us always carry the love of Christ in our hearts, because this world specifically needs your love, your unconditional love that flows to us, because we already know about it, but therefore we can go out and be more intentional about spreading your unconditional love, which changed our lives, which saved us, oh Lord. So Lord, help us spread your love. In the mighty, matchless, holy, majestic name of Jesus, I pray. Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen, brother. All right. Well, I want to thank you again for being on the channel. It means a lot to me. Your family around these parts. So anytime you want to hop on and collab again or anything like that, anytime you want to meet up, I'm here for you. And I'm only one text or call away, as long as my wife is not in labor with our 100th kid. So I had to throw that in. So anyways, man, I thank you so much for being on. I'm blessed by you, brother. I truly am. I know a lot of people are blessed by your ministry, and I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the impact God has used you for. And I want you to just continue in your work, because you're doing a good thing. You're spreading the gospel in a great way, and you're encouraging a lot of people, these independent artists. So you keep doing you, man. I'm proud of you.
Amen. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for allowing me to be your guest tonight on
Of course.
the Wonderbeard Ministries podcast.
Yep. All right. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. We got some more guests coming up soon. Names that I'm not going to mention yet, but very exciting. Looking forward to the future of it. So anyways, I hope this video has blessed you. If you have any questions or would like to be a guest on the one-on-one interviews, you can reach out to me. Feel free to either comment below, or you can reach out to me. Even just email me at wonderbeardministries@gmail.com. God bless you. You have a blessed one. See you in the next one.